This is the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.
For the first time in a couple of months, the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show is back on your television. Mike Leslie, Andrew Cely here with you once again. When last we left you, we all couldn't stop talking about that trade of a Dallas superstar that had driven everybody nuts. Apparently nothing has changed.
I was this close to walking in with like a Hawaiian t-shirt on saying, what happened? Like, I mean, two months off, or 2 or 3 practically, since anything notable was happening. But no, nothing ever slows down around here. Literally, we're getting ready for high school football. We're getting ready for the college football season. And of course, Dallas decides to keep their name toward the top of the rundown on everybody's things. It's just how it works around here. But we got a lot to get into, so let's get into it with what's on the show.
Here's What's on the Show, sponsored by NFM.
So the jury's still out on who is really behind the Herschel Walker trade, but there's no denying who made the Micah Parsons trade. Star defensive end is replacing the star with a G and heading to Green Bay. I might be happy about that. Most people aren't. We'll discuss what that means for the Cowboys heading into Brian Schottenheimer's first season at the helm. The Longhorns came out flat in Arch Manning's debut. How worried should Texans fans be after a loss to the defending champs? Plus, we ask which is more likely with a look at the Cowboys' future. Mike, that's what's on the show. Now who's on the show?
On the show today, 2 of our favorites, our very own Glenn Strutch-Smith, the former Cowboys coach and analyst, and from All City DLLS Cowboys, our very own Clarence Hill. Gentlemen, we appreciate you being with us. Great to have you guys back on the air. What do you make of the trade of Micah Parsons? Stretch, I'll start with you.
Well, I think anytime you get rid of a generational player, it's going to send shockwaves around the league. I have my own opinions about the fact that they've come out and said, well, they didn't think he could stop the run. You know what? He's a chess piece that they should have used a little different than they used him. So I don't like the excuse. I don't like the fact that they let a guy who is very, very productive with getting to the quarterback and who is absolutely what you want to build the defense around. They let him walk out of the building. I think it's a big mistake.
Jill, how about you?
Yeah. I mean, the stop and run is a bit. I mean, they had all off season to figure out how to stop the run. They didn't address the run defense until the 7th round of the damn draft, okay? This is not about stopping the run 8 days before the season opener, whenever they made the trade. You don't trade a generational pass rusher, an elite pass rusher, a difference-making position for a nose tackle. This is not about stop and run. This is about feelings. And Jerry felt that Micah betrayed him. He felt that Micah let him down. I've said this many times, he wanted Micah to be his Michael Irvin, have that type of relationship. I look you in your eye, and we made a deal, and you reneged on my deal and tried to bring this other guy, this carpetbagger, this outsider into our relationship, and he never negotiated at all. And so, yeah, it's shocking because we've seen these things happen with Dak and Cely go down to the last minute and Jerry acquiesced, but Jerry was dug in. His feelings, he was upset. He got mad, and Micah got traded.
So, Mike, my question to you is this, and he and I kind of had a discussion about this last night. Try and convince me that this isn't just about Jerry's ego. Because as he said multiple times, like, what's stopping this deal from getting done? Nothing. He could have done this months ago. He could have done this at the end of last season, getting ahead of this whole thing. But instead, he lets it drag out because he wants the headlines in certain parts of the season. And he played with fire, got his own feelings hurt, and that's why we're here, as Jill said. Mike, try and convince me that it's not just about Jerry that we're in this position.
I mean, I think it's about more than Jerry because it's also about Micah at least a little bit. Like, Micah also does have a piece in all of this. I think Jerry's the much bigger problem. Let me be clear on that. But I also think it was very interesting, something that has changed since you and I had this discussion last night upstairs in the newsroom. What we heard today in the locker room when Oso Digizua was asked whether there were differing opinions about Micah Parsons within the locker room, and his answer to that was to offer a no comment. And it just strikes me as a little odd that that question required a no comment.
Go ahead.
You got to understand who you're talking to. Osa's not going to cause any controversy. He and Micah are tight.
Right. I understand that. But why is the answer not no? Micah was loved in this locker room.
Because we all know that question is loaded. Let's not be naive. That's a loaded question, okay?
Granted.
Very loaded. Everybody's, talking around it, and certainly they say the players did not want Micah off the team.
Right.
Okay, this whole idea that we talk to the players, you can be frustrated about the podcast. I mean, the Cowboys in the 90s, the damn deep snapper had a radio show. A damn deep snapper. I mean, we get so crazy about a damn podcast. Can y'all play? Can you do what Micah does? No.
I mean,
I agree that we've made way too much of the podcast.
Yeah.
If you have never had a Pro Bowl, made a Pro Bowl, difference maker, not a game record, why do I care what you think about Micah's podcast when he's doing all these things as generational talent? This is ridiculous. Football is a caste system. Everything has never been equal.
Mm-hmm. It does strike me, Coach, that we're having this discussion about Parsons and how much he may or may not be distracting the team. Right as the documentary comes out and reveals Charles Haley was doing everything behind the scenes that we already knew, but it's just resurfacing all of that. I mean, dealing with pass rushers that have character flaws off the field is nothing new for this franchise.
Again, let's be real about this. Charles Haley was a 6'5", 265-pound guy who was an edge setter. This Micah Parsons is a pass rusher, and it's your responsibility as a football coach to put him in position to use his talent. I'm not going to get in here and tell you, do I think he can set the edge as a 7 technique? That's not what he does. He is a pass rusher and a generational pass rusher, and the fact that you let him walk out of the building and you're using an excuse to say, well, he doesn't play the double team tackle tight end very well. I think it's almost asinine.
Yeah, no, listen, it's if you can't figure out how to use that guy, we've lost Chill. He's gone. He's gone.
No, I'm not gone. I'm leaning. I'm leaning. And one more thing from the locker room, because I talked to some guys off the record. Their guys they're disappointed, they're hurt. I mean, they did not want Micah off the team. They're going to say the right thing, like Dak talked about. We got to move forward. It's a business, and guys are playing ping pong. And still, yes, they know that, but they wanted to go to war with Micah, and they knew what Micah means to this defense, and they didn't want Micah off the team.
And I just to be clear, I didn't mean to insinuate that I think they do. It just Osa's question intrigued me. But I agree with you in general. This is a locker room that liked Micah Parsons and didn't want him off of this roster. And to circle back to Stretch's point, if you can't figure out how to utilize Micah Parsons, and listen, I'm intrigued by this coaching staff. I like some of these guys. I've enjoyed getting to know some of the guys on this coaching staff, and it's been a very interesting training camp period. So I want to see what they can do. But that's an indictment. If you can't figure out how to use Micah Parsons, that's a problem.
Well, they've had most of training camp to deal with him not being on the field, so there is some.
They haven't had a chance to get a great look at exactly how to do it. So yeah, fair enough.
But this is not on the coach's staff. This is Jerry Jones. The coaches didn't say I don't want to use Micah.
Right.
And guess what? Jeff Hafley couldn't be any happier than to have him on the defensive side of the ball in Green Bay. I mean, this guy got run out in Boston College because he couldn't win, but he's figured out on the defensive side, give me a guy that's a generational player. I'll put him in position to make him win.
All right, we'll leave it there because when we return, we have to sink the knife just a shade. We're going to talk Texas, Ohio State with our man who was there to see it all after this.
Today's headlines, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers.
The Rangers hold off the A's 9-6 to complete a 3-game sweep. Don't look now, but Texas has won 5 straight and are 71-67 overall. They are now 2.5 games behind the Mariners for the final AL wildcard spot. Well, unfortunately, the start of the college football season, or at least began the way the last one ended with Ohio State getting a big win. Not thrilled as a Michigan guy, but it's what I got to deal with. In the meantime, I know Clarence wasn't exactly thrilled being there in person, seeing a 14-7 loss. Clarence, what did you make of basically the environment first, but then we got to get into the drama around Arch and how he performed?
Well, first of all, they didn't let Michigan guys in the house. This is what I heard. They wouldn't. They're so soft. They won't even let a Michigan commentator show up at the building.
Crazy.
So you couldn't have got there. You couldn't have got there. I was there. They didn't ban me and Matthew McConaughey. All right. We were there. Okay. The atmosphere was great. The crowd, it was a loud environment, great. What you expect from the Horseshoe and all that other stuff. I was at Michigan last year. I was at Alabama. I think still at Alabama had the best environment that I've been to. But it was a night game, so it's different than these day games. So I guess because the Texas-Michigan game was in the day, and certainly this Ohio State game was daytime. But certainly the high street, all the tailgating, it's great. Now, if we want to talk football, Arch was awful, and we're not gonna give him grace. It was the first game when he started before. He is not a freshman. He's been on campus for 2 years learning, cooking, developing. He learned and developed. They didn't force him on the field. He learned the right way to go out there and dirt your first pass.
Oof.
To dirt your first pass, and you're a Manning, and you've been taught and you've been cooked and developed to dirt your first pass, and then to be throwing the ball behind guys and at their feet and misreads, and that's just disappointing. That's not what he didn't have to light it up, but to the fundamentals, dirting balls, I mean, I just didn't see that, and that's highly disappointing. I'm sure he'll be able to cook in the next few weeks against San Jose State and UTEP and San Luis State before they play Florida and Oklahoma in the SEC. But that was highly disappointing in what we saw from him and Sark, because, again, Sark has had historic red zone issues going back to when he was at Atlanta. And then you go back to last year's championship game, first and goal at the 1, they couldn't get in. And again, last Saturday, ball at the 1, you can't get in. What are you doing? I thought you were some offensive genius. You weren't cooking. Get in your bag.
We could go till midnight just asking Chill about the UT Ohio State game. I'm curious about one thing, Clarence, because I agree with you. Arch was not good yesterday. But I'm intrigued by your comment about we're not going to give him grace. He's had time to cook. Do you think he's not going to be markedly better when they play Florida and Oklahoma in late September and October? Like, do you think you're going to see growth? Like, it was a pretty difficult spot to go, hey, go on the road and play the defending national champs in your very first game as the full-time starter.
Okay. He's going to be better. And I'm not saying he's not going to be better. But as I say, we're a daily newspaper. We're a daily radio show. All we can go on is what we saw, right? We can only judge and commentate on what we saw, okay? And I'm just going on what we saw, and we didn't see that last year when he did have chances to play. So going on the road, yes, I understand Ohio State. His pockets were clean.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was like Dak in Atlanta when he got sacked 8 times. He had pretty much clean pockets. It wasn't like they were in his face and there were no pockets. He had clean pockets. Let's be honest about that.
Yeah. Stretch, what did you think of the game?
I agree with what Clarence said. I mean, this is a young man that's been in some football games. I didn't like his footwork, just as a coach looking at it. I thought he was rusty. I thought there's no way you can get the speed of the game with the practice side of it. I agree with Clarence. You can't go out there and just throw it into the dirt. And then to me, I don't like that far away look. That bothered me. I mean, he had a little deer in headlights look. I mean, from a guy that's got that name on the back of his jersey, that kind of surprised me a little bit. But he'll get better. Texas is going to be fine, guys. They got a hell of a football team. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, they got beat 14-7 at Ohio State, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock their time, but whatever you want to say. At the end of the day, give me the Longhorns week 14 of the season, and we'll see what happens. Once he's had enough time to go around a racetrack in a Formula One race car, he ain't driving his old Z71 truck anymore, and I think things will clean up and be fine for the Longhorns.
So, Mike, my question to you is, like Coach just said, were there enough aspects to Arch's struggles for reason for concern for this team? Or do you think all of this will just get smoothed over by week 4?
I don't think that there's enough there to be fully concerned because I think there was so much positive on the other side of the ball. Their defense looked fantastic.
Yeah.
The Texas defense looked fantastic. And that alone is going to win you a lot of football games. Now, do I, want to see what he looks like against Florida in a few weeks? Sure. And that will be another really good data point and litmus test for, okay, how far have you come in 4 weeks? But I don't look at it like alarm bells are not going off for Texas right now. No. Chill, we'll give you the last word here. Being the UT fan that you are, where do you think it goes from here?
Well, I think they'll be better. Defense is damn good. The running game is damn good, and you saw that they averaged 4.5 yards a carry against that Ohio State defense. And so they'll be able to run the ball. There's not a lot of firepower outside. Glenn knows it's hard to just move the ball down. If you got to have some big plays, and I'm trying to figure out where the big plays are going to come on that offense. But in Arch's legs, everybody thought it was going to make the difference. Everybody said, get rid of Quinn. They would have used Arch. They'd have won the playoff game. And that's the problem. There are analysts, like Glenn, not Glenn, but analysts, these scouts, #1 pick in the draft. It was too much. And so that's why everybody's watching it. And then you get a performance like that, and it's a huge letdown. But yes, he'll be better.
All right, stay with us in the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. Coming up, a look at the Cowboys' future with which is more likely.
And now it's time for Which is More Likely.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. Time now for which is more likely. It's a game where I've got 2 statements. The object is find out which one is more likely. You guys got to decide. Sounds simple? That's because it is. Don't complicate it, Mike. All right, let's bring up with our first statement right now. Which is more likely? Dak wins NFL MVP or Micah wins Defensive Player of the Year? Doesn't have to be this year. I'm looking at the remainder of their careers because that's kind of what the bet the Cowboys just made is. You're going to get the best out of Dak or you're going to get the best out of Micah. Mike, we'll start with you. What do you think?
Okay, the clarification that it's not just this year makes it a little more interesting. I'm leaning in Micah's direction for sure, but this is not a question I expected in any way, shape, or form. I'll go Micah, but I think it's 60-40 Micah. I think it's pretty decently in Micah's direction.
Clarence, what do you think?
Clarence?
It's easy, Micah. I mean, first 2 years in the league, he finished second in defense MVP voting. Third year, he finished third. I mean, he's been in the running, and he has a chance to do it again. Yeah, it's the answer is Micah for me.
And then, Coach, what do you think?
I mean, he's got a gas tank full. He's fixing to get after it. Full of Red Bull, by the way. I look for him to come at it hard.
What was the line about Luka after they traded him? The fuel that was given to him, Micah just got a bucket load of it as well, and he'll use it.
The only reason why I put Dak in it is if the Cowboys are going to be successful, by all accounts, it's going to be Dak that's going to salvage this season, or at least the next couple seasons, while the defense seems to get its legs, as much of a Kenny Clark apologist that I am. And speaking of which, let's get into the next segment. All right, which is more likely? Cowboys win 10-plus games, or the Cowboys win 6 or fewer? None of this 9-8, none of this 8-9 talk. Are we going winning season, a really good season, or are we about to reset the clock? Coach, start us off here. What do you think?
I'm not going. They're not going to win 10, but I mean, is the floor 6? Are they going to win 6 or fewer? I think it's right between there. I mean, I think this is about a 5 or 6 win football team. That's about what I think they are right now.
That's pretty interesting. Clarence, what do you think?
I've said a healthy Dak Prescott, they've never won less than 9 games, I don't think. But with where this defense is, there's no difference-making, game-breaking players on defense. This team is closer to a 6-win team than a 10-win team.
Mike?
Stretch has been asking me this question on his radio show the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I have been in Clarence's mindset this whole time. If Dak Prescott is healthy, they are always either a playoff team or knocking on the door right until the very last week of the regular season. Every single time he's been healthy the whole year. The Micah Parsons trade changes the calculus on this a good bit, I think. Now I think it's likelier they are 6 or fewer than 10 plus.
My question, though, is a follow-up, because you guys always put the impetus on Dak where that's concerned. He had loaded rosters in 16 through 20, essentially. Then the defense kind of falls off a cliff. And at least in the middle 20s, it was him, obviously. But they had talent on that side of the ball. My question is, sure, he's healthy, but he's older, and now he's injury-prone. how do you juggle that when you go into a season where they got to make way early when they've got that bear of a schedule toward the tail end, Clarence?
Well, they certainly have to get off to a good start. That's the problem, how you set this thing up with Mike and those guys, and you're not necessarily going to be at your best. I do challenge you on the loaded rosters. They did not have loaded rosters.
In 16? In 16?
I do challenge you on the load. They did not have loaded rosters. That's not true. The
Top
defense
seed
was
in the
always
NFC? 2 years removed from the 14 team? I don't know, man. I'm just saying.
did not have loaded. The defense was always their problem. It never stopped to run. They were not loaded. They had some names, but loaded rosters, no.
All right.
The defense in 18 was pretty good.
Just saying. All right.
The year that they beat the Saints and made that big run tail end of the year, that team wasn't bad. Thank you to you guys both. We could do this all night. Stretch, chill. Thank you guys. Seriously, we could go until midnight. It's our first show back, and we've all been chomping at the bit with a lot of things to say.
Mike's final take coming up next. Thanks, guys.
Don't know if you've seen the viral video that's making its rounds about Nico Harrison, a Mavs fan walking up to him at a Twin Peaks and berating him in profane form. Listen, if you want to make Nico Harrison know that you don't like him, that you don't like the trade, that you think he made a terrible trade for Luka Doncic, go nuts. I agree with you. Do it at a Mavs game. Don't walk up to the guy at a restaurant, really? That was clownish behavior, that was immature, and that was completely uncalled for. The guy made a terrible trade. I'm right there with you on all of that. But let's have just a dose of class, please. That was, I know you saw it, I know everybody saw it. What are we doing?
But if you come up to Mike Leslie in a restaurant, say whatever you want. I'm just saying, he'll take it in stride. Thank you so much for joining us.
Probably true.
Thank you so much for joining us on the
Nico
Ultimate Dallas
did
Sports
take it
Show.
pretty well.
We will see you guys next week after the start of the Cowboys season. We'll see what happens.
This has been the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.